Chicano Rap Radio. Raw and uncut.
Cubo, and welcome to another episode of Chicano Rap Radio. Today we got the homeboy OG Big Wicked in the house. How you doing, G? Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, my man. I appreciate you having me. Shout out to Chicano Rap Radio. Chilling like a villain, my boy.
That's right. Well, we appreciate the time you're taking to talk to us. As usual, it's for me, I think it's always important for the listeners to get a little bit background information on who you are. So I was hoping that we could kind of lead with that. Can you maybe give us a little background on OG Big Wicked and, how you got into the rap game, and also a little background information on your stomping grounds, because I think that's a big part of who we are. You can't really know where you're going unless you know where you come from. So let us know where you're from, where you grew up, and how you got into Chicano rap.
I'm from Orange County. Can't say a specific city, homie, but I do rep Santana, and I say that because when I was a kid, I lived around everywhere in Orange County, so it wasn't really like a specific city. I lived in La Habra, lived in Anaheim, lived in Santana, lived here, there, but that's why when I say OC, because I rep for the whole county.
Yeah.
Orange County is my stomping ground. The whole condado, you know what I mean?
That's right, G. And, when did you get into Chicano rap? I imagine, music's been a part of your life for a long time, but at what point did you decide that, I got a talent, for writing or spitting or whatever it is, and you decided I'm gonna take this to the next level and, try to, put something out?
Well, I believe that it was, as a kid, I believe that I started writing a lot more when I was, I would say about 13. Just a little bit, you know what I mean? After my dad passed away, I kind of started writing a lot, you know what I mean? And
how old were you when your dad passed away?
I was 12 years old. My dad passed away of melanoma cancer.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, I was
sorry for your loss,
young kid.
And that must have been a tough time, being young and having such a big loss. If you don't mind, can we touch a little bit on that? As far as your dad's role in your life, and how perhaps how that void maybe manifests into other things that you experience moving forward.
Well, yeah, my pops, he was he was a hardworking man. He was a good dad from what I remember. Was very calm, but also very not, I don't want to say strict, but he was old school. You know what I mean? Like a lot of like jefes and jefitas from the past, or from the older they are, the more they're don't beat your ass if you fuck around.
Yeah.
I mean, you get the chancla, but and you get the cinturón. Know what I mean? You get the belt real quick.
Yeah.
And we deserved it. And I think, as a matter of fact, just not to go off topic, but I think that's what a lot of kids nowadays kind of lack.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they actually tell the parents, like, fuck, you ain't gonna do shit.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And back in those days, it's like, what the fuck? Bam.
Right.
You know what I mean? You better figure out what the fuck you said wrong. You don't talk to your parents like that. You don't say that type of shit. You know what I mean?
Respect
you respect your parents. Exactly. Respect. You know what I mean? So going back to my pops, me being a kid and losing my dad at 12 years old, I like that father figure. You know what I mean? So I had my tío, but he wasn't there all the time. And I had my mom, which played the father and the mother role. And as best as she could, a mother tries. I'm sure a lot of mothers out there can feel me, like when there's no father around. You know what I mean? They try their best, but a daughter and a son will still need a father figure. Right. There's the male and there's the female. You know what I mean? Each one of them, they teach you different things in different parts of life, or in different walks of life. So I kind of like that. So when my dad passed away, I didn't really know how to take it, and I know it hurt. I remember I wanted to cry and shit. And then I remember I closed my door one day, and I don't know, man. I just kind of sat there, just like in a darkness and shit, and just kind of like something just snapped in me, And after that, I mean, I was, I can't say I was always like a good little boy. I wasn't, you know what I mean? I had my issues, you know what I mean? But my dad was right there to fucking put me in check. And
Right.
even though my mom and dad were divorced and they were trying to work things out,
Yeah.
they were still both good parents. They were just having their issues, you know what I mean?
Right.
And you can
right.
tell, and those type of things kind of affect you when you're a child, you know what I mean? Going through such, and it's not their fault because there's no perfect relationships out there, you know what I mean? There's nobody out there that can say, oh, my fucking relationship is better than yours, or I'm a better parent than you, you know what I mean? It's because everybody goes through their shit. So I don't blame my parents for arguing because that's something that everybody goes through.
Right.
You know what I mean? Whether it's behind the scenes or whether they do it in public or whatnot. And sometimes, unfortunately, us kids have to hear it or whatnot. You know what I mean? It's just part of the shit.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I kind of, after that point, I kind of snapped. And, I mean, I was already hanging out with fucking like homies here and there. I didn't really fucking go to a specific school because I got kicked out of all of them. I used to throw blows a lot, and I used to fight a lot and shit.
Yeah, scrapper, huh?
Fucking, yeah. So I got the brass knuckles right here, dog.
That's
I mean,
right.
even my clothing line is got.
That's right.
And you know, you gotta have them too and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I mean, so that's been my thing and shit. I mean, I was doing a little bit of fucking boxing here and there too and shit a while ago, but I would just say it's just like it wasn't like a professional boxing. You know what I mean? It was like you know, amateur. My boy had me go down to Boxing 2000 over there in Orange and shit. Yeah, I'm going off topic over here. I mean, just so many like things pop up in mind once you start kind of reminiscing.
Well, I mean,
those doors, you know what I mean?
And it's all interesting, G, and I just want to get a little glimpse, and thank you for giving us a little bit more on you know on the loss of your father, and you know, because I can imagine, you know, how that could definitely have an impact on a young mind, you know, and especially if, you know, depending what area you grew up in, you know, you might already be vulnerable, or you might already be attracted to what's going on the streets, you know, and like you mentioned, you know, your dad was always there to keep you in line, but you know, once, you know, unfortunately he passed away, you know, that there was really nobody there to kind of keep you, you know, kind of reined in, and you know, that's probably that was a big part of your life. Now let's transition into like how you started getting into music, how you started getting to, you know, rap. I want to rap. This is, you know, what I like to do. This is what I'm good at.
I mean, that was actually a big part of it. You know what I mean? So I mean, after my dad passed away, kind of went through that pain, and I was gangbanging out there. So I can never say that I was just like a lot of kids out there. You know what I mean? There's kids out there, or little homies that's their thing. They rapped and they always got into music, but I was out there gangbanging more than anything else.
Right.
But I did like the music, and every time I heard music, like say when I heard I mean, back in those days, like you know, when you hear like an NWA, or you hear like funk music in Orange County a lot. Whenever I heard beats and I heard another rapper, I wanted to kind of like do my own thing on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And since I was always gangbanging, all my lyrical content always had to do with gangster shit.
Right.
So it was always raw and always and I just started writing. You know what I mean? I used to write a lot, and my mom would kind of just throw away my lyrics because it was full of gangster shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, I was started out at a young age, but never really what's the word? I mean, never really took it serious because I was out there in the streets. You know what I mean?
You're banging. You're out there.
I was banging. I mean, like that's why, like in a few of my songs, I mean, I say like I'm a gangster rapping, not a rapper trying to be one, because I don't consider myself a rapper really. I like to look at myself as a music artist, as a rapper, I guess, in a way, because I'm doing music and I'm rapping. You know what I mean? I'm not singing, but when it comes down to it, that's not like I'm just a G, just trying to do music because I like it. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just like telling stories. You know what I mean? Everybody has different stories.
Right.
Everybody's got different flows.
And you're telling things through your perspective, you know, which that comes through in the music. And okay, so you know, you start banging, and you know, that's why the music that you do now reflects a lot of your upbringing, you know. And I actually think, you know, that's good because, you know, it's really reflective of, you know, what we go through out there on the streets, you know, sometimes, you know, people look down on our community or Chicanos or the homies or whatever, but they don't understand that we're a product of our environment, you know,
Yeah,
and you can't really blame us for being the way we are because, you know, we have to cope, we got to survive, you know, and people like you are a testament to that. You survived, you went through these tough times, and whether other people look down on that lifestyle, it got you through it to now, you know, now that you're an adult, you know, now that you have a family. What
absolutely.
when do you remember when was like the first time you actually put something out? So I know you were a little bit more drawn to the streets, you know, and but there was a point where you actually got into the studio. Can you tell us about that?
Well, I mean, the first time that I recorded a track, G, was when I took apart two, you know, those big stereos. That there was for some reason I remember these like purple looking like stereos that parents used to always have, and you know, with the tape decks and all that stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
So I remember taking them apart and then just getting those tapes. My mom would get pissed at me because I always get the tapes, put in the little tissue on the side because that's how you
yeah.
can actually record over it.
That's some OG shit.
Yeah, I mean, and that's all I used to do. And then I would put the
Yeah,
other radio next to it, and I
yeah,
would play the beat that I would make,
yeah.
looping it through you know what I mean? You press pause, play, record, pause, play, record,
Wow.
and yeah, and I shared that with the homie that I did an interview with a while ago, 20A and shit. Uh, Shout out to the homie and shit. And yeah, so it's I mean, certain things like that. I mean, it's like you don't know about music. There's no devices. There's no Acid Pro. There's no uh fucking internet. We didn't
Right.
have internet back in those days. You know what
Not
I mean?
back then.
Man, fucking pagers were barely, yeah, pagers were barely like the new thing and shit. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. That's
And
right.
I remember like recording that shit and to a beat and just kind of rapping there. And then after that, uh well, I mean, you used to be able to plug in a microphone and get that little
Mhm.
karaoke machine.
Right, right.
That was my second device that I used to do raps. I got about like, man, I wish I had that tape. I mean, I have a tape out there that's like I know I have that album, The Lost Tapes,
Yeah,
but I have literally a tape out there
that's
with like
lost.
about 7 tracks that I did as a
Yeah,
kid. You know what I mean?
that's
That'll be
right.
dope to find that shit. I mean,
It
it's a straight
it's
cassette tape.
that's
You know what I mean?
classic. It's definitely, you know, has to be showcased in the Chicano Rap Museum for sure. We're gonna
Yeah,
have to
doggy dog. To funk
put the
music
word
rap
out.
and all that shit.
We're gonna have to
Yeah, I
put the
mean,
word out, and hey, let's find that tape.
where the fuck is that tape? Who has my tape? Yeah, I
So
got a bunch of videos too and shit. Homie, I don't know, fucking like when I went to prison, I lost a lot of shit. You know what I mean? I left
yeah,
shit here with some homies. I know eventually they'll surface and be like, God damn, because back in those days, there wasn't no cell phones either, right?
right.
So whenever you like the homies like rapping or whatever, right now you can actually record it. But back in those days, I used to have this big ass little I think it was a Casio or some shit. It was like a square, and you know what I mean? It's like one of those cameras and shit, the big cameras.
Yeah,
And my homie would always record shit. We always record like us rapping or when we ever went to clubs, and it'll be a trip to see a bunch of that stuff, though, because you'll be able to see like, damn, motherfuckers are doing the shit that I was doing back then, but I never actually got to like what's the word, document it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
so yeah, that'd be a trip to see that
uh,
shit, homie. So
that's solid, homie. And thank you for sharing that with us. I think we are gonna have to put the word out and track some of those videos to definitely, you know, put them in the archives.
for real, dog.
We're gonna take a quick little break, and then we're gonna come back with the homeboy OG Big Wicked. You're listening to Chicano Rap Radio, raw and
Right.
uncut.
Chicano Rap Radio, raw and uncut.
Cuba, and welcome back to Chicano Rap Radio. We got the homeboy OG Big Wicked in the house. We've been chopping it up about how the homie got into the rap game. He was out there, you know, on the streets, gang banging for a while, and then at some point, the homie started getting into the music, taking the music a little bit more serious. And I wanted to touch on that a little bit more. Can you let us know, perhaps maybe like how old you were when you started getting back into the music? And if you remember, what was like the first album or compilation album or mixtape that kind of put you out there to the rest of the world?
90, 2009 is when I finally got like access to a recording system. And in those days, I was making pretty good money, you know, getting my hustle on. And
Right.
so I was, yeah, I mean, you'll see like old school pictures of me. I always have like a nice jewelry on. And in those days, that was like I had a big ass brick cell phone too. So I was able to use some of that money to invest in that. So I invested in this big block computer, right? Little tower. And
Right.
I believe it was Acid Pro and shit. And in that time, in my pad right there, in that time I was staying in Costa Mesa.
Okay. Still
And
the OC, right? Oh no,
what's up?
Costa Mesa. That's down south.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
ST.
Costa Mesa in Orange County. So I mean, you got Santana, Costa Mesa,
Yeah.
and yeah. So that was like actually when I was about 17, I had my first apartment, homie. So you know what I mean?
Dang, you were
Yeah,
hustling.
I
You were
kind
not
of, I
kidding.
mean, I don't want to put my mom on blast because my mom was a good mom, but my mom
Yeah.
kind of like started in this, anyways. But I moved out just to leave her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was doing my own thing, and I had my little benzo and shit, 500 benzo, doing
Damn,
my
G.
thing, and
Okay.
got the little system going. Kind of learned it. It was I don't know if you're familiar with Acid Pro back in those
Yeah.
days.
Yeah. Yeah.
They had Cakewalk and shit. It was very simple. You know what I mean?
Quack.
And as a matter of fact, the first track that I actually recorded, it was a beat that I made myself, and I think it came out fucking. It was like a big ass hit, and it was actually recorded in the system, and I lost it. 781 Red Rum, the one that
Did
it's
you
on the
re-record
lost
that?
tape. Yeah, I
Okay.
recorded that
Okay. I
on
thought I saw
Acid
that
Pro.
somewhere. That's right.
So the original one is you can't hear. You can only hear on one side of the speaker because I mean I wasn't a pro at it,
Right.
but you know what I mean. So I recorded it in the closet right there. I did my best with it. I still actually have the drummer that I use. You know what I mean for yeah. So I recorded it, and then it got lost in 2000 and I recorded a few other tracks. 714 Live, Been There, Done It. There's a few tracks that I recorded that are mostly on the Lost Tapes
Right.
album,
Right. Right.
it's
And
all over the internet. It's on iTunes, Pandora, Spotify, on my YouTube
that's
channel.
out now. That's out
Yeah,
now.
it's actually out now that I finally was able to remaster,
Mm-hmm.
fix the little things like fuck, you don't want to put something out there where you can only hear the left side and you can't hear the
Right.
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 So I
Right.
had the homie, I shout out to my boy Ivan, fix that for me. You know what I mean? Like fine tune it so it's decent enough to have it released digitally
Right.
on you know better, right?
Right. Quality that you feel comfortable putting out, because I
Yeah, because
imagine back
yeah,
back then you're just trying to record it. You're learning your
exactly,
craft,
dog.
and
Yeah,
I would maybe guess maybe you're also a little having to split up your time between the streets, because if
oh,
you were
absolutely, homie.
independent, yeah,
And in my rhymes, it's like when I got done gangbanging, I would rap about it.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like throwing it or fucking it up. Bitch, don't ask me why. Am I? Because I just love the gang bang. Or maybe revenge is just my main thing. Maintain the mentality. So all my lyrics are like
yeah,
just rapping shit. In those times, I
yeah,
was in a little more of a darker mode.
yeah,
To just a fucking nut. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
music was just something I just spit my shit, just something to play while I'm gang banging
And
for me and my
and
homies.
or by the way, anybody out there, watching this interview, make sure you check out the Homeboys album, The Lost Tapes. You're gonna find some gems in there, and I think it's feeding that that you put that out, because aren't there some songs in there from way back in the day, 90s
Yeah,
or early
absolutely.
2000s?
That like I mentioned, the 7-1 Red Rum is right there. There's 22 tracks on that whole album, and I feel that I owe it to those that truly supported my music from
Yeah.
way back, because I would trip out, dog. I would have tapes out, and just hand out tapes to homies. Then they
Hmm.
would record it for other homies. It wasn't for the purpose of selling my music, right?
Right,
It was
right,
just like it was like a fucking like a just underground shit circulating all over
right.
Santana, circulating in
Yeah,
LA.
yeah.
Fuck, I went down to when I went down to in the county, homies would recognize me. And this is before internet. Keep that in mind,
Right,
right?
right.
They're like, hey, homie, you be, because my nickname in my hood, Alley Boys ATC, is the same name that I use as my rap name.
Right.
So,
Okay.
you know what I mean? So when they were like, seeing, they're like, hey, dog, I heard that jam, you have 71 Rum. Then they knew my lyrics. That
That's
shit
right.
felt good.
Hell
You know
yeah.
what I mean? And that was before internet.
Hey, G, and you know that says a lot about your talent because you know all the kids growing up now or all the youngsters, you know, they have all these, you know, all these things at their disposal. I mean, one, they have the internet. Two, they have YouTube. They have Instagram. They have all the social media apps. They have, you know, all this software at their fingertips where they can record. They don't know about those times that you and I went through, like, for example, when you mentioned how you recorded on the tape, I forgot all about that. But I also remember making mixtapes like that, where for those of you that don't know the cassettes, they have these little spaces on top, these little squares that I don't know how I figured it out. I don't know how you knew it, but at some point we discovered that if you plug that in and you put it back into the cassette player, you can record over that song, you know. So a lot
Your
of us
mom's fucking favorite tapes.
yes, I was just gonna say that we're all
Cause she
recording
finds
our own
out like,
shit.
hey, where the fuck is my my? I mean, I don't know. And she finds it later, like, ah, shit.
Yeah. And recording like that, and then, you know, investing in yourself and starting to record and maybe putting out some CDs. You know, for those of you who don't know, you know, it wasn't a big, it wasn't easy to do back in the day to get your music onto a CD. And so the fact that you were able to put your music out with the resources that you had and make a name for yourself really says a lot about who OG Big Wicked is. You know, that the homies recognize you, they respected your talent, and you start to make a name for yourself. Now, you mentioned something about when you went to the county, and I imagine that's because, you know, you were still active in the streets. Did you did you do any prison time shortly after, around the time where your music started going?
Yeah, gee, I got busted. I mean, I did some county time first. You know what I mean? Did my county shit, got my little fucking, you know what I mean, start, and after that, then I caught a hot one, homie. You know what I mean? Because being being out there in the motherfucking streets and actually rapping about that shit, you end up if you're like a real one out there that's actually about it, you end up getting caught up
Right.
sooner or later, right?
Right.
So I ended up, I mean, it was just a matter of time, dog. You know what I mean? And I was actually very blessed to be out there so long doing what I was doing and being a knucklehead and just being able to fucking just make money and fucking just getting away with so much shit. You know what I mean? And I'm not bragging about it, but I ended up getting 3 attempted murders in 2003.
They
And
charged you with 3 attempted murders.
yeah, 3 attempted murders.
Okay.
I mean, it started out with a big list, right? First,
Right.
and after that, I mean, after you fight it down, you take off the premeditation and blah 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 blah. You know what I mean?
Something worked itself out without getting into the details of that.
Yeah,
So did that result in a prison term? And how long was your prison term?
yeah. Well, I got fucking I was done. You know what I mean? I was done, and I got my break on my appeal. And the reason why I got a break on my appeal is because the judge in my case, during the court proceedings, she was making comments siding with the fools that were ratting on me. You know what I mean? And I was just right there. You know what I mean?
Tight-lipped.
And she kept saying like, "Oh, Mr. So and so." Then I don't understand if you're like if like, I mean, you should defend yourself. You should say something. And my lawyer was trucking it. I had to fire like fucking 3 lawyers that were trucking it, right?
Was it a public pretender or?
Yeah, it was first it was a public pretender, right? And then it was then I had to hire some lawyers and shit.
Right.
Yeah, so but they fucked up my case, dog. I mean, they didn't really like defend me and shit, like you know what I mean, because there is a lot of I don't want to get into details of it, you know what I mean, but either way, I ended up getting fucking like convicted of it, and
You did some time and.
yeah, I did a few. Let me see, I did about 5 years before I got my my appeal granted, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when I got my appeal granted, it was for a retrial because of the judge that stated that shit in my case and siding with the DA.
Yeah.
She got barred from the state of California. So she was
Dang.
doing that to everybody, and she had a thing
Right.
for gang members. And I
Right,
mean,
right. G, if Fitzroy, I just want to touch on that real quick, just because I think it illustrates the point on how the system is really kind of biased against our community, whether it's Chicanos, Mexicanos, or whatever race you are. Like if you come from the neighborhood, they're not giving us a fair shot at it. And I'm not saying we're squeaky clean, but the
right,
system is meant it's supposed to be better than us. It's
yeah,
supposed to root these things out. And when you mentioned that, I mean, that's fucked up. That and I'm glad it worked itself out. But I imagine there's a lot of other people out there that that they got a raw deal, and they're still doing time. So I'm really glad that worked out for you, but I think that's bullshit that these judges that are supposed to be unbiased would do shit like that, like they did to you.
absolutely, homie. There's no reason. I mean, like, as a matter of fact, and speaking about that, I mean, a judge's job is whether fucking like you're guilty or not or whatever it is. They're not there to side with the fucking DA just
Right,
because I don't like fucking brown people. I don't like cholos. I don't like so
right,
and so. That is not. You don't put your fucking like a personal shit on there to sit and side with the DA just because, you know what I mean.
right.
They're supposed to be there to like be like I mean, they're supposed to like do it according to, okay, there's no fucking evidence here, blah blah blah, and just do your fucking job. You know what I mean? So she fucking shitted on me in front of the jury,
Right.
and she fucking like bashed on me for not saying shit. You know what I mean? The
Yeah,
fuck.
yeah,
So
exactly.
motherfuckers that snitched and fucking like playing all victims and shit after they start shit, then they're the ones that fucking like get glorified and it's just like you know what I mean, and it's fucked up because I mean I had to go away. So I mean if I wouldn't have got that break, if that judge wouldn't have got cut up later on by doing their foul shit she was doing, I would have been still stuck there. You know what I mean?
Right,
And
right.
when you're in there straight GP, you know what I mean, fucking doing your thing,
Yeah.
there is no promise that you're gonna come back and shit. You know what I mean?
Especially if you're still active and you know what I mean, and you're riding with with your county or the homies. I mean, you're
Yeah,
still you. You're
it's
still
what it is,
real.
G. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
So I was blessed that I was actually in Ironwood, 2007, I believe. I mean, when I got the letter, I was in the oil right there. You know what I mean? I was in C yard and B yard in Ironwood, uh, and I got the letter, and I was like, what the fuck? They granted me my appeal and shit.
That's crazy.
And I was like, fuck. So then they scheduled a fucking Orange County bus ride back to the county to file your case. And once I touched down and shit, I fought it for 2 years. You know what I mean? Bailed out, fought it for 2 years because you have to refight it, whatever. And they kept going back and forth with my lawyers. Spent a grip of fucking money on the appeal lawyer, especially, dog. You know what I mean? Had to get a badass motherfucker to like, the fuck, I got fucked over. Really?
Yeah,
How the fuck
yeah.
you know what I mean? So then they offered me fucking to lower the what they said, like, hey, look, if you go to fucking trial with us, we're not gonna let you walk away.
Hmm.
And I'm like, fuck, I'm ready for it, whatever. You know what I mean? I ain't going on. You know what I mean? Fucking like we're gonna fight this shit. You know what I mean? And we're gonna do it fucking a solid level. I'm not gonna fucking sit here and be like, oh, fucking did. I'm not gonna do all that shit. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? But
right.
my lawyer's supposed to fight that shit for me and figure out the inconsistencies in the case and
Hmm.
do their thing, right? That's what our lawyers paid for,
Right.
whatever. And at the end, after 2 years, they just offer me fucking like, hey, look, if you sign to fucking like a solid semi-automatic, you can fucking go on with your life, and that's it.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So then I was like, I'm fucking tired of doing this fucking in and out of court and shit, homie. So I got time served and fucking
That's
just
right.
signed
And you
with
got
solid
released.
semi-automatic. So
You
they're like, you know what I mean? Because I already had did about 6 years or so, and
time
they're like,
served.
we'll give you time served, and
That's
we'll
right.
just drop it down to that, or we can take it down to trial. My lawyer was like, hey, look, you know what? That's actually a pretty good deal. You can move on with your life,
Yeah,
and you know what I
yeah.
mean?
That's
You've been
good.
away. So I was like, fuck it.
That's
So
right, G.
came out, you know what I mean? And that's when I had to get my shit back together again, homie. You know what I mean? Because I had lost everything. Lost my
Right.
fucking pad. Lost my car.
Yeah.
I had fucking left my two, my son and my daughter behind. And
that's gotta be tough.
yeah, you know what I mean? Absolutely, you know what I mean? So it's like you go away from their life for a long time and
Yeah.
you want to go back in, and
Right.
they're kind of low key mad at you because you weren't there, but you're trying to explain to them that you love them, you
Right.
write to them, you
Yeah.
miss, you know what I mean? Sometimes you don't get your letters, and they don't really understand. And it's like, but then you have to become a father if you're a professional.
Right.
I mean, if you're a, if you're a good person, if you're a real one, you got to be a father once you
Right.
come out. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's too easy to be like, you know, fuck that. I'm just gonna go back to the streets. Fuck these
Right.
kids, and no, I can't do that.
So,
You know what I mean?
you fought it. You got released on a deal that came because of your appeal. You got back out. You were involved in your kid's life, and I imagine you'll try to make up for lost time. But because the love for the music, I'm sure it was still there. I mean, is that when you really just dove heavy into the music? Because you've worked with a lot of heavyweights, in Chicano rap, or just in that gangster rap, West Coast rap, genre in general. Tell us a little bit about that, like maybe speed it up to you working with some of these,
All right.
I know you work with Homeboy Enemy. I know you got a song out there with, Mr. Little One. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so let me go ahead and try to remember, because there's a lot of them. I mean, when I got out, I got busted again and shit in 2010, right? So I didn't really get to work on music as soon as I got out. So then I did some, without getting into details, did some Fed time, and then I got out in 2013, right?
Okay.
So in 2013, after losing everything and then going through shit with my girl, whatnot, without going into details, there was a point where I kind of just like I always been a hustler. I mean, I always like been able to pick the fuck up. No matter what you're going through, pick yourself back up, homie. I mean, you're a fucking soldier. Dust yourself up, get up, get going again. So I had to re-hustle, re-get my shit back again. Lost my pad. At that point, I was staying in a fucking garage, pretty much just taking a bus down to get a jale. You know what I mean? Trying to get my shit together. And then after a couple of months, 3 months or so, I started getting my shit back. And then I started writing again.
Started
So
building back up.
2013, right? And I remember fucking like the first song that that's when I started kind of listening to. I got a hold of my old tower from my storage that had beats that I had made in the past. So that's when I made that song, America's Most Wanted.
Yeah.
I made that beat too when I used to do beats as well, because I used to produce beats too. There's a video out there on Latin Beats TV too, America's Most Wanted.
Yeah, I was just watching that.
It was like a little, it's a beat that I made in 1999 or 2000, but I finally was able to record it in 2013. That's why when I put out the video, I said, but I'm back now. It's 2013. Give a fuck about money, fuck about bitches. You know what I mean? And people were asking all over the video, why does it say 2013? Because it got released on a year, you know what I mean? So they don't get it, they don't understand, and I had to put the 13 in it too. You know what I mean? So
now they get it. Now they get it because we clarified that.
Yeah, dog. And then after that, I just recorded that, and then kind of like I had to have my homeboy kind of mix it also because it wasn't properly mixed. Right. But I started stacking up tracks here and there.
That's right.
I started recording fucking like more like let me see. I got in touch with homie Little One.
Right.
And matter of fact,
Dance
we were
to
actually
the rhythm, right?
Yeah, Dance to the. No, we actually got 7 tracks. I mean, you know what I mean? We got Dance to the Rhythm. We got we got man, what's the fucking
on the Boogeyman
2? The Boogeyman 2. We got Warrior. We got fucking
Creep. Was there one
Creep,
called Creep?
Creep. We got fucking
You have a lot.
Yeah, we have a lot, homie. So I would say a good 7 tracks, right?
Yeah.
But since it was a 50-50 project, that's something me and him are still trying to work out.
That's right.
And that's in 2014, homie. So it's 2020.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So it's been a while, homie. So I've been busy. He's been busy, but it's a done. To me, it's like it should be out. I mean,
right.
Fucking it's music and shit. But if you do a 50-50 project, and there's certain things that you kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just part of the game. But
right. No.
aside from that, let me see. I mean, then I started just kind of doing my own thing. I ended up doing a feature for, what was it, back 2018 or so. I never been with a label, always been independent.
Right.
So 2018, I believe, is when I did a feature for Capone. Back in those days. And he had asked me and a few fellas, and we did that whole the roll call. There's a track called Roll Call.
That's right.
So that's on me. That's where even Cujo, he was going by Tyrant back then. Bozo, Enemy, fucking Maldito. So I don't know if you heard the track, dog, but there's a few. It's like a whole like. So I hopped on it. And then after that, he told me like, hey, look, you want to do another track for my thing? And in those days, it was like just an agreement. You know what I mean? I'm like, all right, go ahead. Let's do it. You know what I mean? So I hopped on another track. So that's when I put Salsa Worldwide for his CD and shit.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Gee, that's I think it's a good segue into kind of bring us into the future. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take a quick little break, and we're gonna come back with the homeboy OG Big Wicked. We've been chopping it up about his upbringing and how he was out there doing his thing in the streets, being independent. He's been independent for a long time. Went away on a little vacation. And, when he came back, he just tried to pick up and start from the ground up. We're going to take a little break, and we'll be right back with the homeboy. You're listening to Chicano Rap Radio, raw and uncut.
Hit us up at 805-395-6595 for your special requests, dedications, and shout-outs. Chicano Rap Radio, raw and uncut.
Cuban, welcome back to Chicano Rap Radio. We're being joined by the homeboy OG Big Wicked. We've been chopping it up about the homie's upbringing, how he transitioned into the music, how he had to do some time, and there was a little controversy there because the system was kind of set up against him. He eventually got back out, got back on his feet, started working with some heavyweights in the rap game. And the homie's definitely still doing his thing. I wanted to kind of touch a little bit on your clothing line because I know that's something that that's big. It's a big part of your life right now. Can you tell us a little bit about when you started your clothing line and maybe how that came about?
Let me see my clothing line, G. I always had the idea when I was doing time of like coming up with another type of hustle that is legit. So aside from the music, I was writing all sorts of different names down when I was doing time, right? Mm-hmm. When I was in my cell and shit. And I remember writing down these names and I'm like, fuck, man. It just hit me fucking like, the real one shit. Because as a real one, and it's like you can't patent, you can't trademark real one because it's too much of a. Yeah, I have fought different companies, one in Canada that they have. So it's a long battle, G, and it's a lot of money, right? But real ones with a Z. That's what it is.
Real
right
ones. Well, and that's what makes it unique. And Real Ones Entertainment. Make sure you support the homeboy. Check out his clothing line. He's got a Feed Me logo. He's got some, he's got some snapbacks. He's got some t-shirts. I imagine, I think you were sporting a pañuelo, right? Is that also a custom?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, shout out to my boy, Mr. Dibujo out there in Arizona. He actually made this for me when I did the Southside Worldwide video. That's so right. He actually made this for me. Matter of fact, he's actually the one that helped me put my crown together. But this is a specific bandana he made for me.
Okay, so is that one of a kind then?
Yeah. This one is not. Yeah, this one's not for sale. But I do have bandanas online. But this one was made for my videos and shit.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So that was cool. You know what I mean? I appreciated that. But yeah, he helped me with the crown and everything. My idea was like I'm into the brass knuckles, right? Mm-hmm. So as you can see. I don't know if you can see in the camera right there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, I had not seen that, homie. I'm glad you pointed that out.
Right. So
I looked at that logo several times, homie.
Right.
I see the brass knuckles there. That's solid.
It had to be a crown and shit. You know what I mean? Because you have to be a king with everything. I mean, no matter
Right.
I mean, and it
That's
has yeah, if you scope it out and shit, it has all that. So Real Ones right there.
Real Ones
And
Apparel.
Real Ones Apparel with a Z.
That's right.
With a Z.
That's feeding, man. That's
So,
feeding, man.
2017 is when I finally took that serious. After this is like, yeah, I would say like after I got out, like I would say like 2016 or so. That's when I started taking shit serious, music serious, getting myself registered through BMI and doing things legit. Because back then it was just a fucking dream where I'm just doing it to put it on YouTube for the homies to listen to. Right. But then at that point, I'm like, fuck that. You know what I mean? All these fools are getting paid and they're doing it legit. I'm out with no label. So I started reading a lot. You know what I mean? And started studying how I can get myself out there without using a label, without getting burned and all that shit.
Right.
Because it's not going to be no lawyers. So I'm going to put hands on the motherfucker, you know, trying to burn me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But you try to protect yourself. You try to protect yourself from the beginning by educating yourself on how you can elevate
how I
it.
can use that, and then that's how I always try to teach my homies that when the ones they ask me like, how do you get a clothing line out? How do you do this and that? Well, first you have to register stuff. You have to trademark stuff. You have to make sure that it's a brand, right?
Right.
And so 2017 got it registered, got my paperwork and everything.
That's feeding me.
And did it legit, right? So since 2017, I've been moving it. And just like I network myself, I market it myself, I put it out there myself, and yeah, everything I do myself, G. I literally mail it out myself. There's no fucking like team. There is no like I mean, it's all me. I mean, it's just my hustle. You know what I mean? And I'm proud of that. You know what I mean?
I think also for people that support your clothing line, the people that are buying it, I actually think that's much more powerful to know that, you know, whatever they bought from you, whether it's a snapback or a t-shirt or a bandana, that it went through your hands. You know, I actually think I think you need to quadruple the price now that you said that, you know, because it's handmade, handled by the homie, you know.
Absolutely, G.
That's feeding me. And
you gotta be hands on, G. You know what I mean? So that way it's like more. I mean, that's why I always try to like always try to respond to DMs and try to interact with my fans as well. You know what I mean? Because you got to be humble in this game. Because I know a lot of rappers out there that are just cocky, dog, just too full of themselves, and they can't even be courteous enough to say a thank you, or you know what I mean? You gotta be courteous. You gotta say thank you, you're welcome, and you know what I mean? And you gotta be able to be courteous no matter how big of a platform or how small a platform you have. You got to be able to conduct yourself in a certain manner and be humble about things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there you go. You touched on it. You know, I was thinking that specific word. You got to be humble, and especially, you know, with where you come from. You know, you're staying real, but at the same time, you know, you're not letting all that extra, all that success or all that elevated status, you know, kind of get in the way or change who you are. You know, you're still real. You're still a real one, and you're still staying humble. And I admire that, homie. That's
thank you, homie.
That's one of the reasons why I wanted to include you in the lineup for sure, because not only do you have a unique sound, I mean, you know, your voice and the way you put together, you know, your music is unique, you know, and it's powerful. But you also have been able to not lose who you are. You know, you're still real, and I also really admire how you share you know, certain moments with us through your social media that you know, that maybe other people are overthinking it. You know, everybody has this ideal lifestyle on Instagram. You know, they filter everything before they put it out there, and I just like how you share, you know, those special moments with us. I wanted to ask you, you know, about some of your recent music. I know that you recently put out a song with your daughter called "Falling."
Yeah,
correct me
my
if I'm
daughter.
wrong.
Yeah, matter of fact, she just came in right now.
That's right. Okay, can we get maybe a little shout out? Can she just pop her head to the screen and say hi if she feels comfortable? She feels comfortable.
Okay, let me find out. She knew that we're. What's up? Tell me what's up.
Hi.
What's up?
Hi, how are you?
She's looking all raggedy right now. She got a little Tupac shirt on.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, what's up? We're about to talk about that song. You know what I mean?
We were just about to talk about your song, and how much we love it. We appreciate you saying hi to us and the rest of our viewers.
Say what's up. Tell them
what's up.
What do they call you? What's the name of the song?
D-Love and Fallen.
D-Love and Falling.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody, make sure you support OG Big Wicked and his daughter D-Love. Check out their song Falling. You can find it on I imagine all the digital platforms and on YouTube as well. Tell us how that song came about.
Well, that song was man, it just flowed in, dog. You know what I mean? Like I was like, it was during the whole like pretty much, well, we're still in quarantine and everything, G, but it came to like where I've been stuck on, to be honest with you, I've been stuck on a writer's block for a while now.
Okay.
And my daughter, she's like, hey, Dad, how come you're not doing music? I'm like, I don't know. I'm just stuck. I can't. Every time I want to write something, something interrupts my mind, and I can't really like, you know what I mean? And it's been a while. And then she started writing songs because she sees me like listening to beats, and then I'll hear a beat and I'll get into it. Then I'll be like, oh, fuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just what it is. And then, and she's like cause she wanted to be a fighter, dog. And then
like
she has
boxer?
epilepsy. Yeah, she wanted to be a fighter because I like to watch UFC. That's my thing.
Right.
I don't watch basketball. I don't watch football.
Mm-hmm.
I watch boxing or UFC, right?
That's right.
So she always watches it with me, and then she wanted to be one, got her some little boxing gloves, but since she has seizures because she's epileptic, she can't, you know what I mean? So the next thing, I'm like, hey, look, you want to do music? It's you know what I mean? She's like, oh, I'll do it, Dad. I'm like, look, write something. And she started writing about God, you know what I mean? So, and I was like, man, this is actually pretty good, you know what I mean? And I gave her a beat, and I'm like, look, you know what? I'm gonna put you out there for real, like a legit, you know what I mean? And she's like, no, really? Everywhere, Dad? I'm like, yeah, I mean, I already know how to do it. So I literally can do what a record label would do, right?
Yeah.
I'm just like, yeah, because I already know how to put it out. I already know what to do. I don't need a record label or distribution because I got my little platform. All I need to do is like put something out. My supporters will support it. It gets networked. It gets reposted, shared, and it does its job, and then just floats, right? And then
I'm sorry. I'm gonna let you finish your point. My bad. Well, I was just gonna say I wanted to say how it's crazy how when perhaps I don't know how old she is, but maybe around, well, how old ever she is now, maybe 10, 12, 13, whatever. That's kind of when you got into the music, but you didn't have no way to put you on like you did. Right. And now because of all the legwork that you did and everything where you elevated your status, now that your daughter's kind of stepping into that, you're able to speed it up. That's solid. That's feeding.
That's some crazy shit, man. And I was talking to her about that too. I'm glad that you brought that up. You know what I mean? I'm like, hey, look, it's a trip because when I was your age, it was just a dream about rapping, and I didn't know how to put it out there. You know what I mean? Right. And my mom didn't really support me on that because I was rapping gangster stuff. And I mean, I wouldn't expect her to anyway. You know what I mean? She was hardworking, and she was working 3 jobs and dealing with like losing my dad also. So she had it tough. Right. But now she has a father. Her father's willing to support that. Yeah. And I got her back every step of the way. You know what I mean? So, and in the lyrics, she's like, you have to be in the song, Dad. I'm like, shit, because I do gangster rap, right?
Right.
So to me, it was very different. I had to really go deep inside of like my heart to actually be able to express a prayer through a song.
Right.
That's really what it is.
And it's a really powerful song. I want to emphasize anybody out there listening, please go check that song out. It's a powerful song. I think it because of the homie OG Big Wicked, and because of his daughter, I think it's a good blend. It's a good blend between what she brings to the table. She's got a good voice, and also, it also complements your style a lot too. So make sure you check out the homeboy and his daughter's song. It's called Fallen, OG Big Wicked featuring D Love. It's on all the digital platforms. And for anybody out there, homie, that perhaps is not currently following you, or maybe it's just, getting exposed to your music for the first time, how can they find you online? Can you plug in maybe a website or your Instagram so that people can follow up with you?
Yeah, absolutely, G. It's OG BIG WICKED anywhere.
Anywhere. Instagram, Facebook, all
anywhere. You know what I mean? Like literally,
Okay.
You can just go on Google, just type in OG BIG WICKD, and it's a verified listing. So if you click on the OG Big Wicked music artist, it already includes, because Google automatically does that when you're verified.
Yeah.
As a music artist, and it shows you the link to the iTunes, the YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's, you know what I mean?
What about your clothing line? For anybody that wants to pick up some of your clothing line, where can they find it?
Real Ones Apparel as well, everywhere. Real Ones, but the Z with the Z, not an S. You know what I mean? Like Z, like Zorro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Got to keep it different, but original.
That's
You know
right.
what I mean?
That's right, G.
So and just follow the clothing line on Facebook or Instagram, and the link right there to the website, which is under bigcartel.com/Real Ones Apparel. You'll be able to get your gear. You know what I mean?
That's right.
And it's limited drop, so you know what I mean.
Okay.
And if I ever fucking go away or some, I mean, you got some gear, and be able to say like
limited edition.
Yeah, limited edition.
Yeah.
It's no longer gonna be made because he's gone.
Right.
You know what I mean.
Yeah. Well, we hope you're around for a very, very long time, homie. I wanted to say, a big thank you for making the time to join us today, and for sharing some of those moments in your life that perhaps maybe you haven't thought about in a long time, or maybe really haven't opened the door into those memories for a while. But thanks a lot for sharing those moments with us. For anybody out there that wants to follow up with the homeboy, make sure you check out his clothing line, Real Ones Apparel. I'm definitely gonna have to cop some gear myself. And also check out the current song that he has out with his daughter. It's called Fallen, OG Big Wicked, and with his daughter, featuring his daughter D Love, DE Love. Thanks a lot, homie, for like I said, making time for us. Is there any last words that you want to leave the crowd with?
Well, first of all, shout out to your Chicano Rap Radio, homie. I mean, all love from OG Big Wicked, Real Ones Apparel, Real Ones Entertainment. It's all love, you know what I mean? We have to support each other. We have to support one another. And I guess to everybody out there listening, right? There is too much hate out there coming from all ends, not just from within our own people, but also within the system, the fucking the world and shit. We got all these things going on. So I would challenge everybody out there to be a little more supportive with the next man versus hating on the next man. Don't waste your time every day trolling on people or saying negative things about or something. If you don't like a song, just skip it. You know what I mean? You don't got to sit here and drop the little poop emojis or garbage pail or garbage cans and all that. Everybody's entitled to their opinion, yes.
Right.
But sometimes people go a little way out to do it. You know what I mean? And then you got all these lames that just have no life, shitting on people, not knowing what they had to go through to get where they're at.
Right.
They don't know that this fucking kid that lost his dad at 12 years old has finally made it.
Right.
And I'm not getting any younger, but hey, it shows you that a motherfucker that lost his father, went through prison, went through all that shit, went through divorce, went through fucking being broke and living in a garage and all this stuff. If I can make it, you can too.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's firme, G. That's firme. Gracias. We're going to end it right there. Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Chicano Rap Radio, raw and uncut.
Chicano Rap Radio, raw